In war, sometimes the enemy is not an army, sometimes it's a single bullet you never see coming.
Welcome back to ESKC Movie 111. Tonight, we dive into a battlefield where there are no explosions, no charging soldiers, only silence, heat, fear, and a wall that decides who lives and who dies. The Wall is not your typical war movie. It traps two American soldiers in the middle of a deadly desert, pinned down by an unseen sniper who never speaks, but controls every move they make. No escape. No backup. No mercy. Every second becomes a psychological battle. Every word can mean survival or death. This is a war fought with patience, mind games, and raw human instinct. A story about fear, endurance, and the thin line between courage and despair. Stay with us as ESKC Movie 111 breaks down The Wall, a tense, claustrophobic war thriller where the deadliest weapon is the one you never see.
Alan? Not a sign of a shadow.
The story begins in Iraq in 2007. Two American soldiers, Sergeant Major Matthews and Sniper Isaac, are assigned to secure the site of an oil pipeline construction project. Their mission seems simple. Check the area, make sure there were no threats, no signs of danger, no gunshots, no suspicious movements. The desert looked calm, too calm.
My balls have melted into one.
Matthews, who was more experienced, began to sense that something was wrong. A soldier's instincts are rarely wrong. But Isaac, the young sniper, still thought this was just a routine mission. And on the battlefield, the biggest mistake is to underestimate the silence.
Yeah, we're fucking solo out here.
Without warning, a shot rang out.
Oh!
Fuck!
Matthews collapsed instantly without resistance. His blood flowed freely, but he was still alive, though badly wounded. Matthews moaned in pain, completely helpless. Isaac panicked and ran to Matthews. He ran fast without knowing where the shooter was. And he didn't see where the bullet came from. There were no enemies in the distance. There were no shadows. There were no footsteps. There was only one possibility: a sniper. Isaac ran for cover. The only place available was an old wall in the middle of the desert. The wall was cracked and only half of its original form remained. It was just a pile of fragile bricks. But it was his only hope, and the only thing that could save his life from enemy snipers. Isaac is now trapped, cornered by a sniper whose location he does not know. Meanwhile, Matthews is lying on the ground, a few meters from the wall not far from Isaac. But he cannot move. He cannot be left behind. Every attempt to move is met with a shot of perfect precision from the sniper. The enemy sniper was in no hurry. He waited patiently. It was as if he was enjoying Isaac's fear. The desert heat began to take its toll. Water supplies were running low. The radio was broken and unusable. There was no communication with headquarters. Isaac realized this was not just a shootout. This was a hunt, and he was the target. Then suddenly Isaac's radio, which had been broken and not working, turned on. But suddenly a voice was heard. He, the sniper, was so calm, so cold, with a foreign accent. The enemy sniper began to speak. He introduced himself. He knew Isaac's name. He knew his rank. He even knew his personal life. He explained everything so that even his friends understood. Of course, this enemy was no ordinary person. He studied his target. He played with his mind, not just the weapon that was always at his side. Every word he uttered made Isaac increasingly shaky and distracted. The sniper didn't want to kill him right away. He wanted to destroy his mental state first. A mysterious sniper began to tell his story. About the war that destroyed his country. About how foreign soldiers came, destroyed, and then left without a thought for the civilians affected. There was talk of families who lost everything. He accused Dan and provoked Isaac. He instilled guilt in him, and sure enough, Isaac began to doubt himself about his mission.
So tell me about the wall there.
And about the reason why he was there. Meanwhile, Matthews was getting weaker. Every second that passed was a countdown to death. Isaac had to make the right choice. Choose to stay hidden, or take a big risk to save his dying friend.
You fuck.
Isaac made a careful plan, taking all risks into account, and if there was even one mistake, it would mean death. He wore a helmet. He used shadows. He used anything that could deceive the sniper. However, Isaac was too late. Matthews was shot in the head as he was heading towards Isaac. His enemy was too clever and precise. Every trick was predictable. Nothing was missed. Every move was anticipated. And finally, Isaac realized something terrible. The sniper was never alone.
Hey.
Isaac finally saw the enemy's position, although its location was not 100% accurate, but he was very sure. And slowly the truth was revealed. It turned out that the enemy was more dangerous than he had imagined. A sniper is not just a killer. He is a symbol, a reflection, a representative of the hatred born of war itself. This battle is not about who can shoot the fastest. It's about who can endure the most mentally. After Isaac made one last maneuver, air support arrived. He was picked up by the Bulldog team. Although it was not yet known whether the enemy was dead or alive, the rescue team had to retrieve Isaac. He was stretchered and taken to the helicopter. His safety was the top priority. Their flight hadn't gone far from the ground. Isaac tried to warn them that the enemy was in the waist. However, the rescue team seemed to ignore him. Then, a few moments later, the helicopter was shot down. The film ended in silence. The Wall is more than a war film. It's a quiet reminder that in war, the enemy isn't always on the other side of the battlefield. Sometimes, it's fear, isolation, and the choices we're forced to make. If this story made you stop, think, or feel the weight of survival, then you're in the right place. On this channel, we explore dark, intense, and unforgettable movies. Stories that don't fade when the screen goes black, but stay with you long after. So if you enjoy deep movie breakdowns, emotional storytelling, and films that challenge your perspective, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. What would you do if you were trapped behind that wall? And make sure to come back for our next video, because here, every film has a story worth remembering.